That's why additional tariffs on Chinese goods are in place effective midnight tonight at 104%. Until they make a deal with us, that's what it's going to be. I think they'll make a deal at some point. China will. They want to make a deal. They really do. They want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get it started because they're proud people. China will now pay a big number to our Treasury. This is all taxes. And don't let them keep telling you that this is a tax on our people. I hate that. You know, they say it's a tax. No, often much of it is paid. And hey, look what happened during my first term. We had no inflation, and yet I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes from China. No other president got 10 cents in tariffs or taxes from China. I got hundreds of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, and I still got along with them because they understood what they were doing was wrong. They understood it.
Did you hear what Trump just said? China will now pay a big number to our Treasury. Don't let them keep telling you that this is a big tax on our people. I hate that. He probably hates that because it is literally the truth. I'm going to make this as simple as humanly possible. Tariffs are a tax imposed not on a foreign country, but on an importing company, meaning American companies that import goods from China pay the tariffs. And those increased costs are passed on to us, the consumers. That is how it works. The US government doesn't have the ability to extract money from China's treasury. It doesn't work that way. The US government can only add a tax on goods coming into the US from China. That tax is paid by the importing company to be able to accept those goods, meaning the American company pays, and of course, they're not going to shoulder the cost, they're going to raise prices. That means we pay more. I don't know how to make this any simpler. So when Trump beats his chest that we're going to get so much money from China, no, not correct. Straight up lie. He is extracting money from Americans. He is taxing us and pretending that it's coming from China. He's either stupid or he thinks you are. Either way, not great. In fact, he's just about to try and explain this nonsense when he bails because there is quite literally no way to explain it. What with it being a figment of his imagination.
Don't let them keep telling you that this is a tax on our people. I hate that. You know, they say it's a tax. No, often much of it is paid. And hey, look what happened during my first term. We had no inflation, and yet I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes from China.
Gotta love how he just bails and pretends that he pulled in money from China in his first term. You want to know what actually happened in his first term? He engaged in a trade war with China in 2018. And not dissimilar to what's happening today, according to the Tax Foundation, the Trump administration imposed nearly $80 billion worth of new taxes on Americans by levying tariffs on thousands of products valued at approximately $380 billion in 2018 and 2019, amounting to one of the largest tax increases in decades. In fact, here's Tennessee's Department of Agriculture commissioner back in 2019 discussing the impacts of the trade war on farmers and the Trump administration having to use American tax dollars to try and make those farmers whole.
60% of our exports were going to China. Trade wars started that effectively lost soybean, corn, took a big hit. I mean, it really, and all farmers in the whole country were affected, and especially those that grow a lot of row crops in West Tennessee. At least some reports that they're making progress with China now. Even if that progress is made and you reinstitute that market, it's going to take some time to get it back developed. Some people say a year or two even after that.
So you think the subsidies that they get, they'll hold out, probably won't go bankrupt, anything like that?
Well, the money that they get's not going to fill the hole completely. We need some movement on and try to reopen that market before we'll be fully whole.
In other words, he's literally done this before. He has screwed over Americans using this exact strategy. And rather than, oh, I don't know, learn his lesson, he opted to double down. What is it they say about the definition of insanity? In fact, take a look at this report from Politico. The farm economy has shifted dramatically since 2018. Higher inflation has sent prices for fertilizer, seed, and other inputs soaring and increased interest rates for farmers' annual operating loans to as high as 8% this year. Prices for major crops like soybeans and corn have plummeted roughly 40% since 2022, partly because Trump's first trade war reshaped the global markets for soybeans, with Brazil and Argentina emerging as major competitors to the US. And though Trump is starting to explore another bailout, the funds he used to assist farmers the first time is now nearly depleted. Quote, "We have an example of what happened in the past, and it's a very similar situation, except the farm economy at that time was much stronger than it is now," said Caleb Ragland, president of the American Soybean Association and a Kentucky farmer. "We don't have any margin for error. We are going to lose a generation of young farmers." Which is so weird because I thought that Donald Trump's trade war had no adverse impacts on the US and instead brought in billions of dollars from China. So either all of America's farmers are lying or Donald Trump is. Take all the time you need with that one. In fact, it's like Donald Trump saw farmers struggling and thought to himself, what if I figured out how to screw over an even broader swath of Americans?
But we're going to tariff our pharmaceuticals, and once we do that, they're going to come rushing back into our country because we're the big market. The advantage we have over everybody is that we're the big market. So we're going to be announcing very shortly a major tariff on pharmaceuticals. And when they hear that, they will leave China, they will leave other places because they have to sell. Most of their product is sold here.
That's right. He's got his sights set on pharmaceuticals now, meaning now drugs are going to be more expensive because Donald Trump is wielding his sledgehammer everywhere. So the drugs that you rely on to keep diseases at bay or your health in check or your life intact, Donald Trump wants to make sure that when we import those from other countries, they all get a little bit more expensive. Unless you think that he will ever deign to admit any of this, even despite his previous failed attempts, rest assured he won't.
And I really think we're helped a lot by the tariff situation that's going on, which is a good situation, not a bad. It's great. It's going to be legendary. You watch. Legendary in a positive way, I have to say. It's going to be legendary.
He says that he's, quote, helped by the tariff situation. Right. According to new polling just released, by a 2-to-1, 60% to 31% margin, independents say Trump's tariffs will hurt Americans, and 55% of overall voters agree. And Trump is underwater on the economy overall. 46 approve, 51 disapprove, with independents disapproving 52 to 45. So either Donald Trump has a distorted understanding of the word legendary, or he's just bullshitting everyone yet again. So when Trump begs everybody not to believe their lying eyes and lying ears and what the farmers are saying and the economists are saying and his own allies and the media are saying, that should be all the proof you need that Donald Trump has fully lost control of the narrative and that we are hovering right above the target. Before you go, first, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we're now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they're willing to cater to this White House. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a great way for me to be able to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's completely free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support my work. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.